Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the update preview stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Artemis and Miss D. Say hi, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Sometimes I feel like I'm saying Misty when I'm saying that. I really got to
Yeah.
pronounce that D, Miss D. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, for my sake, just call me D, because
Call you
there,
D. Okay.
there is actually one called Misty, but spelled differently, obviously.
Oh,
So,
I believe it. Yeah.
yeah, I guess
I bet there's a
D is
bunch of
fine too.
Misties out there, but yeah, I'll just do D. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to the update preview stream. And what do we got going on? Well, as always, we're over here on the staging branch, and we're going to go through what is going on in Rust development for the week. Before I get into it, a couple things. One, if you're wondering about server wipes for today for Rustafied servers, it is the weekly and bi-weekly Thursday servers wiping today. And they're wiping at their regular scheduled time, which is 3 p.m. local time for the region, which means many have already wiped. EU wiped 3 hours ago. And SEA AU wiped like 11, 12, 13 hours ago. They live in the future, as we all know. And the US servers wipe in 2 hours at 3 p.m. EST. And this is an interesting month. There's a 5 Thursday month. So the bi-weeklies will have a 2 week wipe. And then at the end of the month, they will wipe again and have a 1 week wipe prior to the November update. So that's just a heads up with that. As always, as we're going through stuff here, feel free to do at Miss D, that's me underscore in chat. I added the underscore in the wrong place. Um, but ask Miss D in chat any questions you have.
Just
And
ask,
part
yeah.
and part of me, if I sound a little different or out of my freaking mind at the moment, I was traveling yesterday. I'm on the road and I'm only like half there after charitable Rust last week. But I do want to thank everyone so much for the participation and the amazing event for Charitable Rust over this past weekend. We raised a bunch of great money for direct relief, and it was an awesome event. And I just can't thank everyone who participated enough. It really went off splendidly. And there's still an opportunity to give. The donations are still open on the Tiltify campaign. And the skin sales, thank you so much, Facepunch, for supporting us with putting the 4 skins on the item store, the proceeds of which go to this amazing cause. And this year, they're on the item store for 2 weeks. So we got one more week of skin sales. So if you haven't had a chance to get those 4 exclusive skins, this is your opportunity. You got 1 week left. And these skins are account bound. You can't trade them. You can't get them after the event. And again, the proceeds go towards this amazing cause. And that's where, historically speaking, 90+% of the funds come from. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance, go pick 1, 2, 3, or all 4 up and donate to a great cause and get some amazing skins. And yeah,
I
we'll
was
have some
about
more.
to,
Yeah, go for it, D.
I was just thinking, I was about to ask chat, guess why Box wanted to have it called Foreskins? He wants foreskins every year.
Yeah, well, we have 4 skins on the item
Yeah,
store. The proceeds of which go to
it's
this
pretty
amazing
cheap.
cause.
It's
Yeah,
for charity.
pretty cheap foreskin. Anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. But once again, thank you everyone so much for your participation. Thank you to the people who donated, to our amazing production team, and a huge shout out to Facepunch for supporting us. This was our 10th year running this event, and it's been 10 amazing years. I'm so thrilled. We'll have some final numbers on the skin sales and everything in a couple weeks, and we can really kind of finalize what we raised. But it's well into the 6 figures raised for this amazing cause. Direct Relief brings aid and support to people in conflict zones and impacted by hurricanes and natural disasters and all this stuff. And yeah, it's just been a great event. And thank you so much for participating. And I see people talking about the ads. And sorry about the ads. I got to double check the ad thing. Something got janked up with that last week, and yeah, I'm gonna turn them down. I don't even want ads on this stuff. But anyway, I'll take a look at that when I get a moment. I'll have that fixed by next week. Anyway, speaking of next week, we do have Halloween is coming to Rust next week. This is the Rust Halloween event going live. We're over here on the staging branch, and the Halloween stuff has been merged in already. And we'll have a full summary next week of what you can expect in the Halloween event. But historically speaking, what we see is we see some special skins on the item store, some spooky wooky masks and things like that. And a bunch of in-game Halloween events like the trick or treat stuff and the mummies running around and all that stuff. So definitely stay tuned next week and we'll run through everything going on in the Halloween event. That Halloween event will go live on Thursday with a mandatory server and client update. And then from there, it'll run until the November update, which I believe is November 5th. And so you got like 2 weeks of Halloween spookiness in Rust coming just next week. Now, also going on in Rust development, there's a bunch of stuff going on. A couple things. One, they made hemp easier to see. Hemp is a little brighter now, so it's going to be easier to see. It doesn't blend in so much with the surroundings. So if you're out there looking for some hemp plants, you'll be able to find them a little bit easier. And also, they've got some more work this week going on the new mini crossbow. And this is a new weapon we just saw the beginning stages of on the commits like last week, I believe. And this is going to be a 4-shot mini crossbow. So I'm picturing kind of a one-handed like 4-shot thing. It'll probably do less damage, probably still a low tier item, but a cool new crossbow is in the works. No visuals yet on this, as it is all on a separate branch, but we'll keep you posted as always as more comes to light. We're also continuing to see some more work on vines this week, and that was another thing that just showed up in the commits last week. And this is interesting because the vines, it seems like we're going to be rocking some Tarzan action pretty soon here. And I believe this is going to be part of the Jungle Ruins Monument and potentially the new jungle biome. And what we're seeing based on the commits is that you'll be able to kind of mount the vines and swing from vine to vine. So that's definitely going to be an interesting thing. We're keeping a close eye on that. And like with pretty much all this stuff, no visuals yet, but I do believe that will probably come out with the advent of the Jungle Ruins Monument. And the other thing is, with the Jungle Ruins and potentially the new jungle biome, there's going to be a bunch of new critters too. There's snakes that are in process and being worked on. There's been talk about crocodiles and I believe pythons and various other jungle related things in the near future. So, really excited about that. I don't think that's going to be coming for November or December. It's probably going to be an early next year thing because, well, as with all these monuments and especially a new biome, there's a lot of work that goes into this. Facepunch does make these things very bespoke, very custom. And with that, it takes a while for these to come in. So I imagine quarter 1 next year we'll probably see the jungle ruins, jungle biome, vines, snakes, crocodiles, and all that good stuff coming in. And as always, as more comes to light, and especially as we get some more visuals or something's merged into staging, we will give you more information. They're also doing more work on shields this week, and I think shields potentially we could see for November. I'm not sure, but the shields look like there's going to be two versions at the very least, a wood and a metal version. And based on the commits, what we're seeing with the shields is they will, of course, be a defensive mechanism and an item that you hold probably in your left hand, and then you can still wield a pistol or even a sword in your right hand and then kind of block incoming things. And as the shield gets hit, it will kind of take down the durability of the shield and absorb the damage that way. Also, when you don't have the shield equipped, it will be on your back and it will protect your back. So it looks like it's going to be a cool new way to defend yourself in the near future, and we'll keep you posted on that. There is also, of course, more work on siege weapons, which is a really interesting new dynamic coming in for raiding. Based on the commits, we're seeing several items being worked on: the battering ram, a catapult, and those are the ones that are really being worked on this week. But we've also seen a raid tower and some other things in the works. And with this, there's a new build system coming as well, which I touched on briefly last week. But what we're seeing is with this new build system, it'll be kind of like a throwback to the early days of experimental, where you used to put a building block down and then you had to swing your hammer at it to upgrade it. And based on what we're seeing, that's kind of what this new siege weapon build system is going to be. You'll put kind of this like skeleton up, and then you'll have to whack it with your hammer until it's fully built. And then with these things, you'll be able to tow them with a car or horses. And it really does stand to change a lot with regards to the meta of raiding, because instead of just walking up to a base and tossing some C4 or whatever on there, you're going to be able to roll up with some catapults and raid towers and battering rams and all this shit. So they're getting kind of medieval on this here, and I'm all for it. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. That's another thing that potentially is a little longer term. I think there's a very small chance we could see it for November, but more likely probably December or early next year. There's also more work being done on the crude gestures, which is actually now being referred to as a gesture pack. And so that makes me think it's probably going to be a DLC available for purchase. But if you recall, these crude gestures were part of a Hack Week project, and they include a bunch of, well, just that crude gestures like middle finger, double middle finger, the cranking up middle finger, my personal favorite, cutthroat, where you like move your like thumb across your throat as you're looking at somebody, like I'm gonna cut your throat, and things like that. So just kind of some crude gestures in the works that was merged into the staging branch, but we're not seeing access to it, which is more indication that this probably will be a DLC in the near future. And given it was merged into staging now, I think there's a good chance that could be the DLC we see for November. So we will, as always, keep you posted. And then we're also seeing, and we've been playing with a little bit on the staging branch today, is this AI wolf iteration stuff. And this was merged in last week, and the wolves are acting a little weird last week. There's still some weirdness going on, but we're getting more out of these wolves this week. They're howling a bit, they're jumping, although a bit janky, they're jumping onto foundations, and they're afraid of torches and fire, and they kind of run back. They make a really weird squeal too. Isn't that what we were seeing?
Yep, yep. I can turn it up if you like.
Yeah, cool. So they're squealing a bit when you hit them, and they'll run away. The idea based on commits is that if you startle them or you scare them a bit, they'll run away and then howl and call their friends in, and then that wolf pack will kind of surround you and your group and kind of attack you in a more coordinated effort than we've seen in the past.
I think they
And this,
also howl actually before they see you.
oh, cool, okay.
Because I was standing just doing nothing, and I heard the howl, but I couldn't see it anywhere near. So
And yeah, so this AI iteration on the wolf stuff is just part of a larger body of work where they're going to be redoing, based on my understanding, all of or most of the AI in the game. So we'll probably see this go live first, and then after that, after a while, we'll see work on improving the AI of the scientist NPCs and probably other aggressive animals and stuff. And it'll probably come into play.
Clips as well. No, just joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the AI wolf iteration, and given it's on staging now, I think probably we're going to see this. It's definitely still a work in progress, we'll say, but I think there's a good chance we will see this go live for the November update. So we'll keep you posted on that. There's also more progress on the blowpipe weapon this week, and this is, of course, this new low-tier weapon that's going to shoot bone darts, so you'll have another use for your bones in the near future. And there's even talk of several poison darts, so a dart that hinders your vision, a dart that slows you down, a dart that even potentially heals you. So you could maybe shoot a friend who's in need and downed from afar. So that should be interesting. There's also this week a number of various fixes we're seeing, just miscellaneous throughout the whole game. I'm not going to go into the details or whatever, but yeah, just a whole bunch of different miscellaneous fixes and some little quality of life stuff we're seeing. There's also a first pass on a copy and paste feature, which is not like copying and pasting text, but actually copying and pasting items, which there's, of course, been kind of some Oxide mods that do that in the past, and it looks like they're building that into the game. This is not going to be a normal gameplay thing like build one base and then copy it and paste it somewhere else on a vanilla server. This is more for like quality assurance purposes and media purposes, but it should be nice to have for content creators and things like that for if they want to recreate a base they had or something like that. And then finally, they did replace the radiation removal tea with the anti-rad tea in the food cache loot table of the updated water wells. So that's just a small thing, just changing that tea up a little bit down in those water wells. But yeah, that about does it for what we got going on in Rust development. I do believe this is going to be a short one this week. There's not a ton to show off. And again, I'm on the road, so I wouldn't mind if we cut it a little short. But Dee, do we have any questions from the audience we want to cover?
No. Bye.
No,
Just
none.
kidding.
Okay. See ya. No.
No, we have a few. Let me see. Is there any Halloween in the store today?
No, the Halloween stuff is scheduled to go out next week. So tune in next Thursday for the mandatory client and server update, which will turn the Halloween stuff on. And then the item store will update as well with some exclusive Halloween related goodies. So far, we have, it looks like, two new masks. Which were those masks? I'm totally blanking on that now, and I'm not in game.
The mummy and the Frankenstein, I do believe. I'll double check.
Yeah, that's right. So there's going to be a new mummy and a new Frankenstein mask, and those will likely be available on the item store for purchase, along with a bunch of community-made Halloween goodie skins as well. So tune in next week for some more spookiness and that Halloween event going live between next week and the Forced Wipe on November 5th.
If you are wearing a backpack, how does that affect unequipped shield?
That remains to be seen. I don't really know. That was one of the thoughts that I had as well, but at the moment, the shield stuff is very much still a work in progress and on a separate branch. So we lack a lot of details and the ability to really test it yet. But that, you better believe, is going to be one of the first things we test with that because, and I wonder if the shield is going to take up the backpack slot so that maybe you just can't have a backpack and a shield at the same time. I could see that happening, but it does remain to be seen at this moment just because it's all still a work in progress.
Is there anything besides the torch that scares the wolves off?
Apparently campfires do as well, so I don't know if that's like if a campfire's lit they won't approach, or if they approach and you toss one on then they'll run away. But apparently the torch and the campfire, based on commits from what I was seeing, will scare the wolves away, at least temporarily, until they howl, call some buddies in, and rip you to shreds.
Will the Halloween event have the Frankenstein pit again?
We're not sure. I think they probably will have the Frankenstein's monsters things that came in the other year. Did last year have them again?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was just 1 year, so maybe not. I don't know. I
I
feel
don't know.
like maybe they tried that 1 year and it didn't work the way they wanted to, so maybe they're not gonna bring them in. That
Maybe
was
it
an
caused
interesting
some
look at.
issues.
Yeah, it was an interesting look at what the pet system could look like, though. And that is still something probably deep in concept limbo at this moment, but they are working on having tameable pets like dogs and things like that you can have follow you or protect you or things like that. And yeah, I feel like the Frankenstein's monsters stuff was kind of a sneak peek at that, but I don't know that that's coming back again this year.
Do you think they will add glass coffins? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That I could see that being a popular, item if they did, but I haven't heard anything about that.
Are the wolves still running away if you jump on something high enough?
Well, the wolves, one of the changes with this wolf AI iteration is that they actually will jump onto foundations. So if you jump high enough, like a couple stories up, you're going to be safe, but no longer will just a simple little foundation keep them at bay from what we're seeing.
So I think also it depends if you spawn them in as like a moderator. They'd act differently than if they spawn themselves.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like when they had the test rideable horses versus normal horses and stuff. I think the spawned in wolves, maybe they just don't know what's going on when they're spawned in like that.
Someone just said, I just joined, so I may have missed it. Is the trick or treating loot actually being buffed?
I don't know that it's being buffed. That remains to be seen, but Halloween doesn't go live until next week, and I'm on the road this week, so I haven't had much chance to test things, but I will be back early next week and getting a full article together about the Halloween event. And when I do that, I will double check the Halloween loot and all that stuff, all those candy bags and everything, and see if it's the same as it has been previous years or if it's going to get some changes. But it has been pretty much the same from what I recall for the past several years. So we'll have to see with that.
Um, Maybe do a little recap and see if there's a few more questions before we go down.
Yeah, I think this again will be a shorter one this week. But we will do a quick recapity cap here. The Halloween event is coming next week, so definitely tune in next week for that mandatory patch from a client and server perspective that turns on the Halloween stuff. There'll be some cool spooky goodies on the item store and the trick or treat and all that good Halloween in-game stuff that we've come to know and love over the past several years. Also, Charitable Rust, again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in over the weekend and to everyone who participated, who donated, who bought the skins. Those skins, the exclusive 4 skins, are still on the item store. The proceeds of which do go to this amazing cause as well, and they're on the item store for another week until Thursday, the 24th. So if you haven't had a chance to get them yet, I do encourage you to go and pick one or all of them up because they're really cool skins. They're exclusive, bound to your account, so you won't be able to get them anytime after the 24th. And best part of all, the proceeds go to this great cause, Direct Relief, bringing aid and resources to people who need it most in conflict zones and natural disaster areas around the world. So, and again, just much love and a huge shout out to everyone who participated and helped out with Charitable Rust. And again, thank you so much, Face Bunch, for helping us put this on each year. It's been 10 amazing years, and I am so grateful and so thankful for what we've been able to accomplish over those years. But back to development news, what is going on the staging branch? We've got hemp has been made easier to see. It's a little brighter now. It's a little lighter color, so it stands out from the other kind of foliage around. They're working on a mini crossbow with 4 shots, which is going to be interesting. There's more work on vines as well, and it looks like you're going to be able to Tarzan these guys because you're going to be able to mount them and swing maybe from vine to vine. And I do believe that's probably going to be part of the Jungle Ruins monument, and potentially there's going to be a small jungle biome associated with that new monument. and even snakes and crocodiles and panthers. Oh my. So interesting stuff with the vines. I don't think that's any time in the very near future. It's probably going to be early next year we see that go live, but it's definitely some cool stuff being worked on. There is also more progress on shields. I think we could see this sooner rather than later. There's going to be a wood and a metal version of shields. And I'm really keeping a close eye to see if that gets merged into staging in the next week or two, because that would be a strong indication that we'll see it for November. But either way, the shields are going to be a nice defensive mechanism that you can hold in one hand and still wield a pistol, and they'll go on your back and protect you from behind when they're even not equipped on your hand. And some interesting stuff going on with the shields. There's also more work on siege weapons, which are definitely an interesting new dynamic that's going to shift the meta of raiding forever. I do believe there's going to be raid towers, battering rams, catapults, and a whole new build system that comes with those siege weapons, which will have you kind of put out a skeleton of the item first, and then you'll smack it with a hammer until it's fully built. And then you can even hitch these to a horse or a car and drag them to the raid target of your choice. So that's definitely going to be an interesting thing in the near future. There's also more work on the gesture pack, which is going to be these crude gestures we saw as part of a Hack Week project the other month. It looks like that's been merged into staging, so I think there's a good chance we're going to see a new DLC of these gestures go live with the November update. We'll keep you posted. Nothing's confirmed on that yet. They're doing some more work on finalizing this wolf AI as well. So we're seeing wolves on staging behave a lot differently. They'll howl, they'll get startled and run away from torches, and then go call some friends and operate in packs and attack in packs much more than they ever have before. So definitely going to be some interesting things on the horizon when it comes to wolves. And this is just a facet of a larger body of work of AI overhaul in general. So in the future, more distant future, smarter NPC scientists, smarter other animals, all that good stuff. There's more work on the blowpipe weapon, which is going to use bone darts and then even have some poison tip dart action going on where you can slow people down or hinder their vision for a period of time. There is a first pass on a copy and paste feature, which is going to be copying and pasting items and maybe even bases in the game. This is going to be more for quality assurance and media and content creation stuff. It's not going to be a vanilla part of the game based on what we're seeing, but it is an interesting new dynamic being worked on. There's a whole bunch of various fixes that the team is working on this week, and I'm not going to get into the details yet, but when we get closer to the November update, I'll have a full summary of what fixes are coming in. And actually, if it looks like they're coming in for the update with the Halloween content next week, I'll include some more details then as well. And then finally, they replaced the radiation removal tea with the anti-rad tea in the food cache loot table for the water wells. So just a slightly different type of tea you're going to see in those water wells in the near future. And yeah, that about does it for the recapity cap. Any questions before we wind this puppy down?
No, not really. Just if you've been asking if the Halloween came out today.
Yep, and nope, Halloween is next week, and we will be back next week with a full article on Rustafied.com about all the Halloween goodies and spookiness you can expect, and we will be back live, as always, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Eastern, on this Twitch to show you what is going on the Halloween event and in other development news. But with that, I am going to wind this puppy down a little early this week. Again, thank you everyone so much for your support and participation with Charitable Rust. Please do go check out the item store and get those 4 exclusive Charitable Rust skins, the proceeds of which go towards direct relief as well. We've got one more week of those skins being on the store, and really looking to raise as much as we can for this amazing cause. And again, a huge thank you to everyone who has already bought the skins and participated in other ways. And yeah, a huge thank you as always to Artemis and Dee for being my co-MCs here.
You're welcome as always, Bugs.
Yep, always welcome.
And with that, we're going to wind this puppy down. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs, signing off.